This is the Zac Anesbury Show.
Welcome. On today's podcast clip, we have the marketing coordinator for postgraduate coursework at the University of Adelaide, Danielle Talbot. So a good chunk of the audience is potentially undergraduate students. And the clever ones, which those people who are listening to must be, would be thinking to themselves, okay, I want to get a position after I finish. I want my degree and all my help debt to be worth it. What will give me the best position to then land maybe a graduate role or an entry-level role within graduate? You're not going to be the chief marketing officer on day one, but what advice would you give them, given you've managed to secure so many different positions from internships through to now leadership roles?
Yeah, so I guess as a young graduate trying to get out into the field, or it might even be before graduation, if you're fortunate to be able to score a role before you graduate, I think it's very exciting, but it's also very challenging. It's tiresome. It's hard. But I think you need to shift your mindset and think of it as exciting. You've got an amazing set of skills that you've now graduated with, and you can now take that and actually apply everything. So it's the start of your career. It's the start of your kind of career journey and building out your skill set and working your way up the ladder. So I think the best kind of advice that I can offer is like building up your own personal brand, as we kind of spoke about before. Networking as much as possible. So attending industry events, you can join different marketing related organizations, connecting with professionals in the field, as we spoke about. It can really help lead to different job opportunities and also just provide those insights into the industry that we spoke about before. You might be fortunate to have some different pieces of work that can help you build up your own portfolio, whether that be personal projects that maybe you're doing as a freelancer while you complete your undergrad studies, or you might be helping out your auntie's cafe with marketing or whatever it may be, but just kind of building out your personal portfolio, even if that is with some university work as well. Obviously looking for internships and just getting that hands-on exposure. There might be some digital marketing courses that you can also do just to kind of kickstart your skills in that industry, because a lot of that is learnt on the job. So again, just kind of having the fundamentals and certifications and things on your resumes, I think is quite helpful. And then, of course, there's that piece about staying current. So just following different trends, making sure that you can really go out into the industry and demonstrate to your potential employer that you can adapt to different trends within the industry. And then the final thing that I'll say is just being prepared. I think being on the other side where I was on hiring panels and I would be looking through resumes and applications, just making sure that you've got that attention to detail is crucial. At the end of the day, we're working in marketing where you are writing ad copy, you are writing blog articles or whatever it is. So you need to show that you do have that attention to detail. And I think just going out ready for those interviews, having actually researched the company that you're applying for, understanding what the job is going to entail, and really making sure that your cover letter is tailored towards the organisation and why you want to work there, essentially making sure that you are hitting the brief. So you kind of imagine that the resume is a brief, essentially.
That's really cool. I think that's very clever. And especially, like you said, like you've got insights from going for it, but then also being on these hiring as well. All of these things that you're saying, is it the same learnings if you're in industry going for promotion, or does that differ a little bit? I'm not over the promotional system within industry.
Yeah, I would say that it all still really applies. And I guess your portfolio piece then becomes demonstrating the campaign work or the projects that you've led. And again, I think it really relates back to that, demonstrating leadership before you are one, demonstrating before you're a leader, demonstrating that you have that potential to take ownership, take on more responsibilities, is really important. So yeah, I think just building out your portfolio, and again, being on that hiring kind of panel side of things, that attention to detail and having people that have actually researched your organization, maybe even research people that are going to be on the panel. I think that's super important for people in industry to remember as well.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with the last point that you mentioned as well. Like, if you can, find out who is on the panel and see what they've been up to. That small thing that might cost you 5 minutes of your time can make a really good impression to a panel. I absolutely agree with you there. That's a really, really good point. So just to finish, I always like to sort of end on this piece. And it's really something about providing, whether it's the best advice you've ever received or advice you'd want to impart on other people, or maybe a favorite quote or something like that. Is there anything you would like to give our audience, to leave our audience on?
Yeah, it's something that I remind myself of quite a lot. And I think it's definitely, it's applicable to anyone, but I think especially as undergrads are searching for their next kind of role, I think it's important to remember, like, whatever will be, will be. I think sometimes it's just nice to remember that and remind yourself of that. I know it's a little bit generic, but I guess just trusting in the universe and understanding that sometimes, rejection can mean redirection, I guess, to something better. Is something that I've always kind of thought about. And I think just trusting your gut and working hard, thinking about, what's your intuition kind of telling you, everything will kind of fall into place. So for those undergrads out there applying for different roles, if you do get a rejection or anything, don't be worried, because you're going to end up exactly where you are meant to be.
I think that's very good. Rejection might be redirection. Love it. You should put that on a t-shirt.
Good idea.
That'd be amazing. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon and evening with us and imparting upon all of your fascinating story and your knowledge. I think what's crazy is, just how young you actually are. And so I'm excited to see myself, obviously through LinkedIn, about how you kind of progress. And I'm very much excited about your current focus, which is on that new university. So thank you so much, Danielle. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much. It's been great.
Hey guys, it's Zac Anesbury here with just a couple of quick reminders. If you've enjoyed today's podcast, then make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. There are plenty more interviews to come with some of the world's leading marketing academics and practitioners. You do not want to miss these. In the meantime, if you're looking for another way to connect, then follow me on Twitter at Zac Anesbury. That is ZACANESBURY. For my take on the marketing issues of the day.
That was the Zac Anesbury Show.